Good morning. It's time to fire up the hot rod and hit the open driveway. Right guys, today we'll be mostly tweaking and listening to noisy people every day. Right, tweaking. I'm going to finish with the running boards. A lot of you were saying, get carriage bolts. Well, technically these are carriage bolts, but they used to be that size and I chopped the top off and I used them somewhere else. So they're just studs with a nut on either side, so not ideal. So I'm going to nip out and get some more carriage bolts. I'm going to raise the exhaust. Well, so we're tweaking today. I'll tweak the handbrake while it's jacked up. And hopefully that will be the handbrake, parking brake, emergency brake all sorted. Let's have a look at the big list. Excuse me. So if you haven't noticed before, this is my list, my to-do list to get the car on the road. Obviously there's a lot more to do other than this list. So it's still to wire up the lights and get the front headlight bulbs, clampy things sorted. Still to do the battery clamp. This bushing at the front, it's my lower control arm bushing, needs to get pressed in a little bit. I'll be sorting that this weekend, hopefully. Tell you about that at the weekend. Front end, I'm going to wait until the lower control arm is done, because I'll be taking everything off the front to do the control arm stuff anyway. It just makes life easier. Seats bolted. In order to do that, I want to kind of paint the inside of the car just with the you know, the black stuff. What do you call it? I've forgotten. Stone guard. And the glass. Now I spoke to my safety guy. I only need the front windscreen for the safety, but I will need a wiper, at least on the driver's side. So let's get started with the tweaking. Right, I've got that exhaust raised. I've got the boards back on. Those carriage bolts I've got are quite long, but they didn't have a box of the 2-inch. I had to buy a box of the 3-inch, so I can always chop them down. They're too long, they're too short. So I've adjusted the parking brake cable. So I'll fire it up, put it in gear, see if it stops it this time. Still no. So I don't really want to adjust the cable anymore, so I'm going to adjust the drum itself to see if it's just, you know, the little adjuster you've got at the back of the drums. We'll see if that helps. Right, while I was underneath, we have wetness. I've obviously got a leak, so I'm going to have to strip that hub down and probably replace the brake cylinder. Great. As suspected, I have a leak, presumably from one side of the cylinder. You know what, there's not really any point just hoping that it's the joint at the back. I might as well replace it, so I'll go and call my parts guy and see if he's got one for me today, because I don't really want to strip it down if he's not got one today, because then I won't be able to, well, I'll be able to move the car, I just won't be able to stop the car. Right, back in a sec, I'll let you know if they've got one. Oh, the joys of car maintenance. Right, I'm back from the shop. Old, crusty, damp, nasty, crappy one. And a brand new one. Looks identical, except clean. While I was there, I thought I may as well get the other side as well, because you know that as soon as I get it working, the other side of that will just go. So I've got the other one. I may or may not fit it at the same time, but it's not on today's list. Right, let me throw that in and tighten it up, bleed the brakes, and get back to what we were actually doing. Right, we're all rebuilt, except for the wheel, obviously. Right, let's start it again, spin it in gear, put the handbrake on. Wee bit more adjustment, back in a minute. Try again. Right, I need to back off the actual normal brake adjuster. It's binding a bit too early. Last test. Okay, enough of that. Let's go on with the other stuff. That works. let's see how that looks now. The exhaust is about 2 inches higher, which is nice. Carriage bolts instead of hex nuts and bolts. Yeah, that should avoid the potholes and the speed bumps, I hope. This one looks a bit higher, so I can maybe raise the other side a bit as well. Again with the carriage bolts. And of course the parking brake, emergency brake, handbrake is now working. New cylinder is in. Brakes are bled. Wow. And that's all the tweaking time I've got for today. Right, what I'm doing tomorrow depends on two things. And those two things are these two things. So depending on what's in these, we'll decide what I'm doing tomorrow. That was quite tiring today. I don't like doing brake shoes, it's a pain. What's this? This is... Okay, so I treated myself. And I got myself a very nice rear view mirror. Isn't that pretty? So that'll need a little bit of fabrication. And it's got the little... Although that doesn't seem to stay. That's weird. Oh, surely I don't need to adjust it already. I've only just got it. Okay, maybe do that. See what's in this one. Okay folks, this is what I'm doing tomorrow. It is decided. I bought some U-channel for my glass. Now I didn't get the actual U-channel I needed because I'm not a billionaire. So I've got this kind of generic U-channel and I'll show you all about that tomorrow for fitting my glass. I'll probably start with the little quarter panels just to make sure it works, and then proceed to do the whole car except the driver's door because that needs fabrication work. That's good. Right, thanks for tuning in. Didn't get a whole lot, well actually I did get a whole lot done today, I just didn't film it all because it was so tedious. But yeah, thanks for joining me today and please subscribe and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.